Welcome to Quick Stop F1. My name is Nasha and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. If you're watching this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 6,000. Thank you to all the new subscribers, nearly like 350 in the last few weeks. So thank you, man. I honestly appreciate it. And welcome to the Quick Stop family. Today, I don't know. Something within me is like making me really uneasy about Formula One and how Lewis is treated by the media. And I know it's layered, and I know that some of it kind of happens with the rarefied atmosphere that Lewis Hamilton gets to, right? He's a 7/8-time world champion. He is the most recognizable figure in the sport. He does a lot outside of the sport, which brings attention to him. And therefore, obviously, in this day and age of, you know, not only are they selling newspapers, but they're basically looking for digital real estate, and they're looking to like capitalize on that. So clicks and views essentially drive traffic to their website, and through that they're able to leverage ads. So we all know how people of interest work. I'm not immune to that, and I understand that, and I can take that on board. But I just think like someone needs to come out and say that the treatment Lewis Hamilton gets from the media and from elements of F1 is rooted in racism. Like, and I just hate how no one says that. Like, no one says that. Content creators are too scared to say it. Media are too scared to say it. We dance around it. And I say we, other people dance around it, and they try and come up with ways of kind of saying how he's treated differently, this, that, and the other. In any other world, the conversations Lewis Hamilton had with his engineer would not have made it past the post-race show on Sunday. If I recall correctly, Charles Leclerc told his engineer around the same time that Lewis Hamilton was telling his engineer to leave him alone. There's been no coverage of that whatsoever. I haven't seen a single thing talking about Charles and his engineer, and I would argue that Charles' leave me alone or leave me to it was a lot more rude than Lewis Hamilton's. Now, granted, Lewis had to do it, I think, 3 times that we heard. But you're telling me that Lewis Hamilton telling his engineer to leave him to it was aggressive? Was anything wrong? That it demands this attention now? I think fans of every driver would say that the media, what we want the media to report on is maybe what's going on with the technical directive regarding the mini DRS. Let's report on why exactly were Ferrari so slow in Australia. Let's report on absolutely anything else. But because it's Lewis Hamilton, for some reason, we've got this extrapolated and also mushroomed kind of event now, where a week later he's being asked about it. Martin Brundle's written a column about it. There's been countless. I saw like a Lad Bible. Like, we've got Lad Bible getting involved now, and I just think, given the conversations that took place, they weren't rude. They weren't obnoxious. There was no shouting. It was a very calm, please leave me to it. I don't need this information right now. Pretty standard during a race weekend. How many times have we seen these conversations take place from multiple drivers? And it's being blown up in this way. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm sick and tired of like pretending that it's not rooted in the fact that Lewis Hamilton, for all of his success and for all of his outside of the car achievements, the reason why people don't like Lewis Hamilton speaking back to his engineer is because he's black. And because people don't like it when black sportsmen step outside of a box that they want to be kept in. Now, people will watch this and they'll disagree with it, and that's fine. That's fine. Quite honestly, I don't care. If you watch this and you disagree with it, I don't care. If you subscribe to this channel and you've come, maybe you've seen me on Cameron's channel and you've come over and you're expecting whatever you're expecting, I don't care. I'm not here to fuck about. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to fucking mollycoddle you through what it's like. Double gunshot. What it's like to watch this sport as a black person, to have experienced what racism in the workplace is like, what racism is like in the social aspect, and to see that mirrored in what I see in such over-exaggerated analysis of every small action that Lewis Hamilton takes. And it's hilarious seeing people jump through hoops to justify the attention that he gets for the most minor things. And I see some people say, oh, when I mentioned somewhere else that Kimi Räikkönen has a reputation that was built on, I think he was probably the first person we heard tell his engineer, leave me to it. I don't think we actually heard that before, or it wasn't as blown up and made into a thing as possible. No one suggested it was rude. No one suggested it was aggressive. And if I recall correctly, the conditions were bone dry when Kimi Räikkönen made those comments. I think driving for Lotus at the time. Absolutely different. Fernando Alonso, I just saw a compilation of funny Fernando Alonso radios across his time at Renault, at Ferrari, and at McLaren, especially the GP2 engine era. I've not seen anyone discuss that. I was there. I was around for the media. It wasn't discussed or held within the fandom as something aggressive or something negative. It was, we can almost empathize with this person because of the situation they're in. And this is what I mean about racism. I'm not saying that everyone who doesn't like Lewis Hamilton or reports on Lewis Hamilton is running around saying the N-word, being the most overtly racist person you've seen. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is there are unconscious or conscious biases which lead to people treating Lewis Hamilton differently and lacking the empathy required to report and discuss these issues. Because if you can empathize with Kimi Räikkönen, if you can empathize with Fernando Alonso, if we can empathize with Max Verstappen and whatever he does with GP, whether you think it's abuse or not, we're not going to get into semantics. If you recall those conversations that happen and you can empathize with, well, the car was shit, the strategy was shit, this, that, and the other, why is that not reserved for Lewis Hamilton? And if that is the case, ask yourself why it is. And if all you can come up with is, I don't like Lewis Hamilton because I just don't know, there's some reason. Or, oh, I don't like it, he's PR now. Ask yourself why Lewis Hamilton has to say please over the radio to try and mitigate a media disaster, and then not 24 hours later, it turns into a media disaster. Ask yourself that question. It's not because he is the most successful person in F1 history. It's because he's a black man in a white sport and he's completely different. And there's a lack of empathy. And I am done with dancing around it. I'm done arguing with people in bad faith. And I'm done pretending that it's not an issue. That has been an issue for years and years and years. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. Like I said, this wasn't a video to be funny. This wasn't a video to, I don't know. I don't really care if this gets 1 view, 10 views, thousands of views. I couldn't give a shit. I have to get this off my chest. And if you like it, fine. If you unsubscribe, fine. If you subscribe, hello, welcome. But what I'm not going to do is be an F1 content creator and sit back and watch this unfold and not say anything. There is not going to be a compilation done in a funny way, in an endearing way, of Lewis Hamilton's radio calls by F1. Because that's not part of the personality they want to build up with him. With Max, we almost accept it. I've seen people say that it's winner's mentality. I've seen people say that's just the way he is. There's an acceptance of it. And you know what? That's fine. Personally, I love it when Max goes off. I think it's hilarious to me. Other people think it's endearing. Do you know what I don't think it is? I don't think it's a way that we should fucking... Okay, let me go back on that. Because let me be honest. GP is fine with the main way Max talks to him. Would I be okay with the way Max talks to him? To me, no. So it is weird when someone does that. But if they're fine with it, fine. I can comment on how I think about those messages. I think widely, if someone is shouting, you do wonder why the media's reaction to it is one of laughing instead of condemning. But there's an understanding of it. And Max fans enjoy that and they don't mind it. But for some reason, the media, for me, makes such a big deal. I remember there was a point, was it 2 seasons ago, where Lewis had a go at Bono and people started labeling Lewis as aggressive. This isn't the first time. And whether you like it or not, what Lewis was highlighting, whether you think it's abuse or not, we can get it stuck into semantics. Lewis saying that, well, Max abuses GP, whatever. You know, and you guys don't report on it. Why are you reporting on me? Could he have worded that better? Maybe. I totally get that. I understand why Max fans would jump at that. If it was the other way around, I'd jump at that. Because it's badly worded. But what I will say is that you can't deny there's a difference in the way that Max Verstappen is reported, that Fernando Alonso is reported, that Kimi Raikkonen was reported, and the way that Lewis Hamilton is reported. And when we boil down into why that is, it is racism. Full stop. Whether you care about that or not, that's up to you. I care about it. So that's why I'm talking about it. And that's all I've got to say. If you like this video, subscribe. Like the video. And yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.